Welcome. Please complete these setup steps to ensure that you have the best experience. If you are familiar with VR and want to skip this step and continue to the experience immediately, look to your right and press the skip button. You can adjust the fit of your headset by adjusting the straps on the sides and top of your headset. Move the headset up and down until the fit is comfortable and the image is clear. Do you wear prescription glasses? Please keep them on to ensure you can see everything clearly. Press the button to continue. You can adjust the slider at the bottom left of your headset to improve image clarity. To adjust, simply move the slider left to right until you can read the text in front of you. Awesome! You ready to start? We hope you have a great experience.
Hello, and I'm glad you could join us. You're here for a series of lessons that'll give you a solid foundation on the basics of home construction. Together we'll work through the key steps and get familiar with the required materials to virtually assemble a model home. I don't know about you, but I'm pumped to get going and dig into the nuts and bolts. Let's begin. What's the first thing you need to take care of before assembling a home? The foundation. You need a strong, stable, and lasting foundation to build on that not only bears the weight of the structure, but your home will sink. I've made some note cards for you listing the 3 common types of foundations used. Now take a minute to read about slab foundations. The slab foundation is literally a slab of concrete reinforced with steel. The sewer pipes and ductwork are laid and the concrete is poured over to embed them. Then the house is constructed on top of the slab. Pretty straightforward, don't you think? Look at the card and I'll give you more information about the foundation type. The slab foundation is literally a slab of concrete reinforced with steel. The sewer pipes and ductwork are laid and the concrete is poured over to embed them. Then the house is constructed on top of the slab. Pretty straightforward, don't you think? Nailed it! I've outlined the essentials of basement foundations for you on the note card. A basement foundation is the deepest of the 3 types. It's made up of cement structural walls that generally run a depth of 8 feet underground, with about a foot or so of that above ground. This type of foundation offers homes additional square footage and natural ventilation. Terrific! Last but not least, crawlspace foundations. What are you waiting for? Start reading. The crawlspace foundation provides a sort of partial basement consisting of short walls to create a space under the house that you may need to crawl through. Only a shallow excavation pit is required, with the perimeter walls built below ground level. Typically unheated, they offer ventilation and easy access to plumbing and ductwork. Super duper! With our foundation work completed, now that you know about the 3 foundation types, time to begin the build. For your home, let's go with a crawlspace foundation. There it is, a solid base to build on. With the foundation laid, you can go ahead and put down a floor. Now to be clear, you'll need to make it a raised floor. Why? Good question. It'll give you easy access to the electrical cables and plumbing that will be run underneath. Use your controller to grab the highlighted joist by pressing and holding the trigger. Want to learn more about any of the construction materials? Just check out the label. Go on, try it. Joists are primarily made of wood, or occasionally steel. For floor framing, the common sizes are 2x8s or 2x12s. Thicker joists can bear a heavier load. Now place the joist by moving it to the highlighted slot, then release your trigger. Terrific! Okay, go ahead and move the remaining joists onto the foundation wall, which will create the outer frame. Nice craftsmanship! We'll support the open space within the home's frame with interior joists. These are floor joists, which are commonly arranged in parallel rows and spaced 16 inches apart on centers. Masterly! To create a subfloor, let's place a sheathing material over top of the frame. A common sheathing material is plywood. Resistant to warping or cracking, plywood is made up of thin layers of wood that are glued together. First-rate job! Pretty nice work for a novice. The floor really is coming along nicely. Step back for a minute and look at what's been completed. Re-examine the materials or read about the ones you didn't earlier. This is your opportunity to dig in and absorb the info. When you're done, turn your gaze to the Finish Lesson button, and we'll pick up where we left off. Joists are primarily made of wood, or occasionally steel. For floor framing, the common sizes, the house needs a floor. I'll put it down so we can move on to other aspects of construction. The floor is laid. Onwards and upwards. Let's build some walls. Now we're going to construct a wood-framed wall made up of studs spaced 16 or 24 inches apart and fastened together between plates. When the framing is complete, the exterior walls need to be covered with sheathing material. Come on, here are some studs and plates. Frame a wall. Plates are horizontal, structural, and load-bearing sections of the frame, and typically are made of lumber. Studs are the vertical, load-bearing members of the frame, and are also usually made of lumber. Strong finish. Use this plywood sheathing to cover that frame. A common sheathing material is plywood. Resistant to warping or cracking, plywood is made up of thin layers of wood that are glued together. Skillfully done. You're a natural. Keep going and frame another piece of wall. It's not going to build itself. Terrific! Time to turn up the heat and tackle something a little more challenging. We're going to frame and support a window opening. Solid work! Once again, you'll need to finish it up by covering the new wall frame with some plywood sheathing. First rate. Impressive. The walls are solid and sturdy. I think you missed some of the materials. Take a look at them. Would you look at that? Well, this house is really coming together. With the floor down and walls up, we need to get the roof on to protect the house from Mother Nature and critters. The roof isn't anything you cut corners on. It needs to be solidly built and, of course, waterproof. Ready? Time to frame the roof by placing the trusses on top of the walls. First-rate job. Once again, you'll need to apply a sheathing material to the frame. Masterly! To repel water, the roof felt needs to be applied in overlapping layers starting at the bottom of the roof deck. Overlay the next layer 2 inches above the last, repeating until you reach the top. You're going to need to put the roofing felt down and move in the direction shown to roll it out. Roofing felt is used to create a waterproof layer between the sheathing and shingles. Beginning at the bottom, it's rolled out horizontally in overlapping strips until you reach the top or peak. This way, the water will shed down and away from the house. Good, but you need to roll the remaining roof felt. Super duper! Looks like we're ready to apply the asphalt shingles and roof vents. Nice craftsmanship. Time to install the flashing and finish this roof. Nailed it! Someone's got skills. That looks well constructed. Be honest, have you read all of the materials? With the roof on, the home is almost enclosed, but not quite yet. Okay, it's time to close the door and window openings. Ready to tackle window installations? I know you can do this. Nice craftsmanship. I know you can handle the install on an exterior door. Get on it. Super duper! Alrighty then, we're good to start installing an interior door. Masterly! How are you feeling about the construction? If you ask me, it's going well. I think you missed some of the materials. Take a look at them. Now that the doors and windows are in, the place is getting close to being able to keep out the elements, but not quite yet. In order to finish up weather sealing the house, we'll have to go ahead and install the siding. Step 1. House wrap will need to go over the plywood sheathing to form a moisture barrier. First-rate job. Step 2. Add a bit of decorative brick to one section of the wall. First rate! Step 3. Do another patch of wall, but this time with stucco. Consisting of cement, lime, sand, and water, stucco is applied over a steel mesh anchored to the exterior wall, or can be applied to a rough concrete surface. While cheap to produce, it requires a professional to apply. Skillfully done! Step 4. Try a little vinyl siding on the last bit. Solid work! Step 5. You'll need to select the siding you prefer. A house is a big investment. Use something you like. Terrific! Nice. That would have been my choice as well. The time is now to go over any materials you haven't yet. The outside is done and looking sharp. Gotta wash up? You'll need plumbing. Let's get the bathroom sink hooked up by connecting the drain and water lines. Because plumbing work can be small, tight, and complicated, I've magnified everything. Put in the drain line for the sink. Skillfully done. Of course, it's necessary to have hot and cold water, so install both of those lines. Strong finish. The sink will require a shutoff valve and supply lines before we can hook up the faucet. Nailed it! There you have it, a few plumbing basics. The time is now to go over any materials you haven't. And just like that, we've got some plumbing. More work is required, though. The house's plumbing needs to be hooked up to the city's sewer or a septic system in order to work. Since there's a lot to take in, I've flushed out some highlights on more note cards for you. To begin, let's examine a city sewer system. For a home in an urban area, the drain is hooked up to the city sewer system via a sewer main located outside the house and is property of the city up to the property line. Through the network, wastewater is carried to a treatment plant and contaminants are removed. In colder climates, sewage pipes are buried below the frost line to avoid freezing. Nailed it! Next, let's check out what a septic system looks like. For septic systems, most commonly found on rural properties, the home's drain is connected to a septic tank buried outside the house. In the tank, solids and wastewater are separated, and the wastewater is directed to the corresponding drain field, or gravel-filled trenches, where via perforated pipes it is dispersed into the ground and filtered by the soil. Terrific! All right, that covered the basics of sewer and septic systems. A sewer or septic system isn't required in this case, so let's move on. At this point, the house is ready for a heating and air conditioning system to be installed. A common way to heat a home is with a furnace, which works with a split AC system. Install a furnace in the garage, then hook it up to the ducting. Solid work! Now place the AC condenser unit outside. Skillfully done! Last but not least, you'll install the water heater. Nailed it! Things are really heating up in here. With that work done, you've completed the main components of a heating and AC system. I think you missed some of the materials. Take a look at them. Cool! The house is now ready to have the AC cranked during the summer and be toasty warm in the winter. The walls need to be completed so the house isn't a completely open living space. Let's finish them up. First, insulation needs to be added, then some drywall. Go on. Tuck the insulation between the studs. Insulation keeps homes warm in winter and cool in summer. A common type is fiberglass, or extremely fine glass fibers, which comes in two forms, easy-to-use rolls or loose fill. It's installed by tucking the unfurled rolls or spraying it between studs. The R value, or insulation level, required is dependent on where in the home the insulation is going and the climate. First-rate job! Put the drywall boards up to close the wall. Strong finish! Use joint tape on the drywall seams between the boards. Terrific! Time to do some mudding. Apply the drywall compound to hide the joints. First rate! Add texture to the drywall by using the spray gun. Super duper! Now that's a smooth finish. Imagine how great this place will look with all the walls done. The time is now to go over any materials you haven't. Textures or finishes can be applied to drywall to create a particular look. Styles include orange peel, mud swirl, stipple, popcorn, and Venetian. Ah, the magic of VR. If only it was that fast in real life. Now that the drywall is complete, we can really get a sense of what the finished house is going to look like. I'm finding it hard to see. Guess we need to switch on the lights. Fortunately, the wiring was run prior to the drywall being put up. Our next project will be to install the fuse box and hook up the wiring to all the switches, outlets, and fixtures. Since electrical work can be small, tight, and complicated, I've magnified everything. Step 1. To manage the house's power, we'll need to put in a fuse box. Super duper! Step 2. Time to hook up the wiring to all the light fixtures, outlets, and switches. Strong finish! Step 3. Put on the cover plates for the outlets, and the fixture needs a bulb. First rate! And there you have it, the basics of a house's electrical system. I'm just going to complete the wiring so we can move on to the next lesson. The time is now to go over any materials you haven't. Let there be light. Now we can really see what a good job we've done. Now we're moving into one of the more personalized aspects of home construction, interior design. First, we'll look at wall finishes, paint, and wallpaper. Slap a little paint on that first section of wall. Terrific! Now apply the wallpaper to the next section. Strong finish! Okay, time to step back and decide which one you want to use. Nailed it! Nice selection. That's going to look sharp. The time is now to go over any materials you haven't yet. See what an impact a finished wall makes? We're almost there. The time has come to look at the different flooring options and pick one. I've already put down some carpet pad, so let's try out some carpet on this first section of the floor. Solid work! Try installing some vinyl flooring. Don't worry, just go ahead, I put some glue on the subfloor. First rate! How about putting a little linoleum down on the next spot? And yes, I applied glue to the subfloor. First-rate job. Lay some wood flooring down next. I know I'm repeating myself, but glue is on the subfloor already. Masterly. Next up, do a little tile work and see how that looks. Yep, I applied the tile glue for you. Super duper! They all look good, but which one do you want to use? Nice craftsmanship! Very nice. The time is now to go over any materials you haven't. Oh, the floors are done. You almost don't want to walk on them because they're so perfect. Time to roll up our sleeves and work on the bathroom. We're ahead of the game at the moment because the plumbing and tiling are complete. We just need to add the fixtures like a bathtub, shower pan, and toilet. These have got to be installed properly, otherwise there's a risk of leaks, and that could result in water damage. Get a move on. That tub and shower pan aren't going to install themselves. Terrific! Next up, vanity, sink, and faucet. Solid work! Now you're ready to do the toilet. First rate. Oh yeah, that's how it's done. Check out the materials I haven't brought up yet to get a jump on your learning. One bathroom ready for business. Finally, we're in the home stretch. We just need to install the kitchen. I'm hungry, so you'll need to install these cabinets and built-in appliances. Nice craftsmanship. You're ready to put the countertop down. Nailed it. Okay, now put in the sink and cooktop. Skillfully done. Install the trim to finish things off right. Strong finish. Now we're cooking with gas. Nicely done. The time is now to go over any materials you haven't yet. The kitchen is in. And with that, our construction on the house is done. Congrats! You did well. Why not take a minute and tour the house? I'm proud of the work we've done here. I hope you are too. Now you've got a good handle on the basics of residential home construction and the materials required. Anytime you'd like to revisit a lesson, just make your selection and we'll do it all again. Well, part of it anyways. Are you finished? Just remove your headset. Okay, it's time to close the door and window openings. Ready to tackle window installations? I know you can do this. Nice craftsmanship. I know you can handle the install on an exterior door. Get on it. Ha! Super duper. Alrighty then, we're good to start installing an interior door. Masterly. How are you feeling about the construction? If you ask me, it's going well. I think you missed some of the materials. Take a look at them. Now that the doors and windows are in, the place is getting close to being able to keep out the elements, but not quite yet.